Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU, the mighty mix spammer. We are ready for action. You may be wondering why am I so pumped? Well, today is nothing. If you have watched my yesterday Sword of the Stars the pit video, then you do know the answer to the question of why am I so excited. Yes, I have watched Pacific Rim for the first time yesterday, and in fact, today, a couple of hours after I make this video, I'm going out to see it again. I enjoyed it and I'll have a chance to talk about it, I hope, between the turns, but right now we need to focus on our game itself. We're in a little bit of a difficult spot, we are fairly late into the game, but when I look at our tech, I'm like, nope, it's no good. I mean, I have pretty much the exact same tech in a multiplayer game I'm playing right now, and I'm at 1040, not 76. Okay, it's a big difference, and of course I'm playing as Harmony and saying that over and over again, but it is important to get the message through. So I am all about, you know, how do you call it, snowballing into a late game, but right now I'm not really snowballing into more powerful faction. It's like the reverse process of snowballing. It's like I'm losing advantages as I go through. Anyway, there is one thing that, however, might help me turn this around. So Sophos offer me Hexaferrum in return for my Proto Orchid. I have only 2 of those Proto Orchids. They're incredibly valuable because they provide you foods bonus on the entire Empire. Foods. That's all. Food, industry, dust, and science. All of those things. Amazing. However, am I recording? Yes, I am. Whew. Also, am I actually, I'll need to be right back. Hold on a second. Sorry for that, I had to make sure that my audio settings were adjusted because I forgot to do so before recording. Fortunately, they were just fine. Anyway, so the reason why I'm actually going to accept this deal, even though Proto Orchids are awesome and incredibly important to, you know, it is incredibly important to just amass as many of them as you can, but Hexaferrum, I have no access to, as you can see. There's no Hexaferrum anywhere that I can see except for this cell phone system and the other one, which I definitely do not want to attack. No! I'm likely going to die even against Horatio if they really focus on attacking me. If I declare war on cell phones, it's GG right there, without any questions. The other Hexaferrum I can see is also on Horatio, not homeworld, but just a Horatio system far away from me. I could capture it, but it would take forever, and guess what? Hydrogen, arid, desert, and arid. So much dust that I hate. So yeah, what I need to do is gain access to Hexaferrum. With Hexaferrum, I can actually make way more powerful ships, including ships that can actually use the advanced containers modules, which is helpful. Actually, how helpful is this? I mean, do I actually have... well, I do have access to Simic class ships. And those bigger ships don't really need those advanced container modules all that much. So what else does Hexaferrum give me? Exactly. I mean, armor is always titanium, I'm pretty certain. Even the late game ones is also titanium, yep. And anything else that actually uses Hexaferrum out from the weapon standpoint? Well, rockets always use titanium, which makes... Okay, well, Slag Tech does use Hexaferrum. But that's only that. You know what? I'm actually I was going to accept this deal, right? Because Hexaferrum, amazing to have it. But I think I'd rather keep the Proto Orchid as I really desperately need the Fritz bonus. Even though Hexaferrum would give me access to amazing modules that I could definitely use, right now I need to get back into game somehow, and Fritz is the only way I can imagine to get back into game. That and also conquering all of the Horatio systems, which is actually doable. If they are at war with the Sheridan, I can abuse that, attack them from a second front, and hopefully, together with the Sheridan, we can take those guys apart. Which is what I'm hoping for. Also, as soon as I can, which will be in the next 10, when I gain access to create alliance option, I'll try to do that with Sheridan and Sophos to actually have somebody to back me up when I need them. Let's end my 10, and finally... Oh, I didn't click, actually. Finally, I get to talk about Pacific Rim. So, it is one of those movies... my first conclusion after watching the movie was that it's kind of like Avatar. It's one of those 2 movies that you go to watch them. Not even to, you know, admire the plot or anything. You just want to watch them because it's a visual spectacle. And I mean it. I mean, if you see Pacific Rim in an IMAX, that's all you really need. It's breathtaking, and I love it. It's great. It really makes you. It really is the greatness of our civilization, if I can go this far, but I will gladly do so. But there are also more things to this movie that I wish to talk about, but firstly, I need to deal with those pirates. Now, they are kind of scary actually. They have medium-range beams and more medium-range beams. They are fairly potent in terms of firepower. I do have some shields, but they will not be able to take out, to resist too many of the enemy's shots. Also, music, come on, why do you always not play when I want you to play? Whatever. What kind of targeting weapon option I will go for? Guillotine. I want to focus. I don't want to focus on one ship, but I think that focusing on every pirate there is would not do me too good because I simply do not have the necessary firepower to dispatch them efficiently. Also, I'm using fighters, which does mean that I'm most likely more powerful than those pirates. Keep in mind the game does not take fighters into account, so this might somewhat save me. Also, I want to protect the ships that have the fighters, which actually probably means that I should go for the option shield formation, because those ships with pirates, they probably have less military power. Let's see, 157 kinetics and let's say 100, about 100 in defense. While the other kinetics, what do they have? They have, those are also, okay, how about kinetics 4 point somethings? It's difficult to tell which ones have more military power. It would be nice if you could tell at a glance if there was a statistic of overall military power. That would help. Right now, as it is, I'll just go for a default formation. What kind of battle cards, you may ask? Well, those are pirates, so I think camouflage is the way to go. It does increase my evade by a lot. It does lower my damage on melee weapons, of which I am not using any. So that's not really a problem. I'll change the cards if necessary, but I think camouflage is pretty much the most powerful early game card you can imagine, so there's no reason not to go for it. With that said, let's head into the fight. And yeah, Pacific Rim was one of those movies I desperately needed. I mean, there are not too many sci-fi movies at all. In fact, there are very few of them, and even less sci-fi movies that are actually any good. And even less movies that are sci-fi movies that are any good and actually have also some kind of battle scenes in them as well. Pacific Rim definitely does have battle scenes. That's something nobody can really argue against. Enemy going for magnetic field. That's strange because that's stupid, in fact. The enemy is lowering their beam damage for nothing because they do not use any deflectors anyway, but oh my ships! They are going down one after the other. I didn't see this one coming. I did not. I hope I can survive for a little bit longer to let my fighters do the job, because, yeah, keep in mind, they will keep fighting even if the whole ships are destroyed, so let's hope they will do me some good in medium range. I really hope this will be the case. They're doing their best, but this poor ship is going to die. I so far only destroyed 3 pirate ships. That's something, but not too good. I'm trying to do my best to destroy the others. Anyway, as I'm losing, I can keep talking about Pacific Rim. So, as you can see, my fighters keep fighting even after that. The battle will be resolved, so they did a little bit more damage, and they'll continue to do so until we exit the fight, which is nice. Sadly, only 4 pirate ships perish, but this only leaves the enemy with 3 fighters, ships. One of them severely damaged, the other one half dead, so it is a good moment for my secondary auxiliary army of Kinetic 6.0s to come in and finish the fight. Meanwhile, I'll send the other Kinetic 6.0, Tectonic, to guard the area from other pirates that could come through. I cannot talk about Pacific Rim, come on, game, stop being all meaningful and such. Alright, I'll get back to this topic as soon as I can, because there are some more things I wish to say about this movie. I can tell you though that I really enjoyed it. Without going into details, I just really enjoyed it. And that's perhaps what you need to know. And yeah, I enjoyed it enough to actually go to see it again today, even though I watched it yesterday. But that's also partially because, those are the last opportunities for me to actually see it in IMAX, because this movie has been out for a while. I imagine it will be taken off IMAX in, I don't know, some time. And I really want to do, use this opportunity while I have it to actually see the movie on a giant screen with big, amazing sound technique and 3D and whatnot, everything, all of that. It's awesome. Anyway, you just said, actually I need to explore more of the galaxy, that's why I sent the other ship, but this guy I'll station over here just so that it can... Actually I sent it to Octans already, I want to see if there are pirates still there or not. So yeah, I'll do that. Also, I want to know if they're heading into Bastardi or not. That's also valuable information for me. What kind of production have I finished? Well, prototype is done just for terraforming it another of its worlds into lava, so now it should be crazy productive. Sadly it isn't, but what I can do is move this population from a Terran to a lava planet, especially one with mutated flora. That sounds like a pretty good idea, let's do that. Oh, I failed completely, let's try this one. No! Let's try this one again, come on, stop being so finicky. Controls, there we go. Now, this lava is producing as much science as this entire system used to produce before I did this change. As you can see, it is very important to get those restoration grids, as they are the thing that will carry you into the late game when Harmony will truly shine. Before that, you do have some problems, but nowadays, I mean, look at that! It's a huge amount of production. It truly is. I know it's a lava, but still, it boosts it even more significantly, which I definitely do appreciate. Alright, so what kind of things do I want to go for? Well, I need food, desperately. I mean, Bastardio and Merop, of course, they're going to continue losing population. Even if I go for maximum food production, they will actually barely gain any. Merop will not gain anything, they just hate me too much to gain anything. I mean, they don't hate me, I just don't control them. I'm only 20% owner, which is bad. But, in fact, you know what? How long would it take me to go for the cleansing technology? Well, not too long if I focus on science, but right now I do need food more than anything really, so I will actually max out food. Literally max out, there is nothing else that needs to be said about this decision. I just need food, I need it desperately, I need to gain more planets that have maximized population to use my restoration grid properly, and thus actually be able to do something, I don't know, useful and maybe have a chance at surviving till late game, because winning the game seems less and less likely as the time passes by. But still, obviously, I'm going to try everything I can to achieve this. There's no question about that. Alright, this system does need epigenetic crop seeding, that's because I do want to colonize this gas methane. It does have door to infinity, which doesn't mean anything to me at all right now, but it also has void stone, which doesn't mean anything to me either, so yeah. But it does have moon, which I actually cannot even explore it. Nope, I do not have adaptive colonies. But colonizing this planet would allow me to gain a little bit more extra industry and food, just because I colonized it. So I'll do so after I'm stagnated on door to node. Not before that, because I want to be maxed out on my population at least for a second. And have a little bit more of food surplus for later times as well. Right. Anything else, however, just focus on food. I could care less about whatever else you want to do. I need food and I need it badly. Ionic crystals, they are probably not really useful to me at all. Yet again, something that gives me more dust. I don't need dust, I don't care about dust, as it turns out. Alright, so my another fleet is heading to prototype. Do I have a strike force in here as well? As a matter of fact, I do, but I was thinking about using it to wipe out the pirates that are somewhere in this area. That's why I sent the scouty little guy over here to Octans to see where the pirates are in fact going, so later on I can hunt them down and kill them. Hopefully. Let's end the turn and talk about Pacific Rim again. So, yet another thing that makes me like this movie way more than Avatar. I mean, Avatar I only care about really because of visuals. Story, nothing great. It was Pocahontas, let's face it. In fact, yeah, it was not great at all. It was just a visual novel. And by visual novel, I mean not a visual novel, but a visual masterpiece. I forgot to go into Alliance, but I'll try to do that in a second. This game had Pacific Rift, while it didn't have, I don't know, extraordinary plot or anything, not at all, but it wasn't supposed to. It didn't pretend it was anything else but a cool, great in fact, action movie, which is why I loved it so much. Really, when you make a movie about action and whatnot, you should be straightforward about this, and you shouldn't pretend to be anything else. But the story of this movie was still good enough to keep me interested, to keep me keep me engaged in a way. And there were moments where my heart was beating like crazy because I was worried or excited or whatnot, not knowing what is going to happen, if this guy is going to die or not, if this Kaji is going to own everything or not, even though I had my expectations on what is going to happen, since it was a Hollywood movie and all of them are pretty much similar. No disrespect, some of them are great, but they are still similar. But yeah, it was exactly what it was supposed to be, which I appreciate a great deal. And I'll talk about it later in a moment, but right now I want to get back to endless space. So let's continue moving. Actually, I want to see what is in this system, if I can even get to it. I most likely will not be able to. And hello there, pirates. They're gonna take out Bastardio, which will be a mess. Those pirates are more friendly than Horatio so far. Well, normally I would be grateful because this would level up my hero, but this time I'm not so grateful. Alright. There is a small Southern fleet which is still more powerful than most of my way bigger fleets, which is just sad. But I did discover ISO, and what it is not a bad little system. It is definitely not. Terran, Django, Arctic, and 2 Arids. Arids I'm not too excited about, but Terran, Django, and Arctic definitely so. It does have a lot of titanium. It would definitely give me an abundance of the titanium, which would lower the cost of my missiles by a ton and actually allow me to spam them. Also, it has Proto-Orchid, and if I get access to this Proto-Orchid and to a Proto-Orchid right over here on Lakim, then I'll have 4 Proto-Orchids. That is exactly what I need to get a resource abundance, and then, dear sirs, I will have plus 20% feeds on my entire empire. Yes, I want to colonize the system. Are you crazy? I need to do it ASAP. I need to somehow smuggle an expansion ship right there and just capture it. There's no denying that that's what needs to happen. Anyway, this fleet is just going to sit here, do nothing. I do see that the Horatio looks like they are ready to move in. I await their move though. It is a little bit scary how they have way more military power than I do, but I hope that they do not have any fighters or bombers, because if that's the case, then I probably have the advantage. If that's not the case and they have fighters and bombers in addition to the amazing military power, then I am most likely dead already. But let's not dwell for it any longer. Sheridan already love me. They are very close. That is the second highest, or maybe even it's the highest. No, it's the second highest attitude you can have with AI. Let's hold on a second. Why can I not? Oh, that's alliance. I thought that. Oh, huh. Strange. I could swear that alliance security was alliance. Maybe Horatio. I mean, not Horatio. Harmony doesn't have alliance in alliance security. It only has one. Everybody has it on interspecies HR. What was I thinking, man? I'm so dumb sometimes. Okay. Change of plans. I do need some science. I need this alliance. And I actually rhymed this. That's surprising. Okay, so how much can I move my slider from food to industry? I mean, food to science conversion to actually get it at a reasonably fast pace, but also have a decent gain of food. I'm not gonna like it at all, am I? Well, it is going to take 5 turns regardless of what I do. Are you serious right now? Yes, this guy is definitely serious. Alright, let's think. Let us think indeed. How about I actually go for industry to science conversion instead of industry to food conversion, right? While maintaining my current, how's it called? Mind and matter slider, and this actually does allow me to limit this to 5 turns on even 5%. So if I go higher, I'll actually get it in 3 turns max. 4 turns if I actually, if I don't want to lose any population. How far do I need to move to the left? Wow, that's a long time before I lose anything on the prototype, but I'll need to move it to 80%. That's still 4 turns. That's still 4 turns. That's 4 turns. I'm waiting till 5 turns pop out, and yeah, 60% would be too slow. So I'm gonna move the slider to 65%. I'll get this technology relatively quickly-ish. And then I can go back to making science. I really do need to have allies at this point in time. And I mean, I do need population as well. It will actually allow me to get back into the game. But without protectors of some description, I will not survive long enough to actually utilize my newly gained population. As simple as that. Also, I love to see my friendly systems. Alright, so what do I do now? Well, since I'm already kind of abandoning the idea of going for a lot of food, I think I'm ready to actually make an expansion ship. It has been a while since I made one. I think it was a volcanic, was it not? Let's have a quick look. Yes, civilization. In fact, why is it now over the top of tonnage? That's a very good question. How is that? I definitely did not have access to tonnage module. I never did. I think what happened is that we're playing this beta patch right now, and as a direct result, Maybe they changed the way volcanics work for Harmony, and now they don't have as much tonnage decrease for civilian modules as they used to. So I'm not going to retrofit this ship because right now it is actually overpowered. So I want it. And what kind of system do I want to make it on? Prototype is the most productive. It doesn't have the most food, however, so it will take it a while to get back into maximum, and I do need prototype to actually have as much population as possible. So I'm thinking Mrs. Fat Lad. Actually, it is barely productive at all, and it does need some population because it only has 4 points of population. It is my home system, it has 4 points, that's pathetic. Ginseng is guarded by pirates still, so Door to Know and Amnesia are the only options I have, so think about it. Amnesia... I would have to take 2 population points from the system, which would mean that one of those planets would not be maxed out anymore. As for Door to Know, it's the same deal. Actually, this planet isn't maxed out anyway, so I'll use Door to Know to make my expansion ship. I also need to somehow make it reach into Issa without being destroyed by pirates, but I think it will be able to do this, maybe. I'll need to give it some protection, I believe. We'll see what I can think of, but I do definitely want to settle over there. Yes, it will increase my disharmony penalty by a ton, but on the other hand, at least it will somewhat decrease the pirate spawn rate without me having any ship stationed over there, which would be helpful. Also, I just realized what Bastardio needs is Seawood satellites. Why? Because then it will have more influence area, if I can get this influence area to surround Octans, pirates will not be able to spawn there. This would be very, very helpful. Anyway, slowly but surely I'm decreasing the amount of points from that pirates can spawn in on my constellation, which would be very helpful. Then I could finally focus on fighting the bigger fish right over there that is wearing the color blue, apparently. So let's end the turn again, and more Pacific Rim fun facts. I don't know what to say, really. I think I liked it because I was I mean, come on. I knew that it couldn't be as bad as Transformers, and I'm sorry, I do not really like Michael Bay film movies anymore. I don't. This guy just... Especially after Transformers. I mean, the cast was horrible. I absolutely hated the actors. The plot was sickeningly bad, as was the entire movie. No! That's not what I expected of Transformers. Not hated, but I disliked this movie a lot. I really did, and I didn't bother to watch the other ones, and I never ever will, because I know that there are still the same actors in there, especially I'm looking at the one guy who is just horrible at acting. But this, so I expected Pacific Rim to be better, but I didn't, wow, so many pirates over here, it's ridiculous. But I didn't expect it to be this much better. It was really enjoyable. I have my private, I would say, score of the movies that I like, and I reserve it's a 10-point score with half points also in there, and I reserve 10 out of 10 for my favorite movie, and 9 out of 10 for, I think it's like what, 4 maybe 5 movies that I enjoy a great deal, and you know that movies that pretty much redefined what movies are for me. So there's definitely Matrix in there, there's The Man from Nowhere, and a couple of other movies as well. And then there's 8s and 8.5s, and there are still not too many movies that I would classify as 8 or 8.5, because this means that I really like this movie a great deal and I could watch it endlessly pretty much. Because, and it is pretty hard for any movie to actually get to above 7 in this regard. And I'm pretty sure Pacific Rim, yeah, it's gonna go to 8. I rarely actually make this kind of judgment before a couple of weeks after watching a movie for the first time, because I always get hyped by a good movie a little bit too much, but I think it is fair to say I really liked Pacific Rim. There's no denying to that at all. Okay, and this time I'll track on for a short second. Why? Because I want the enemy to miss a little bit more, I want to increase my accuracy of long-range weapons, and if the enemy is dumb enough to go for magnetic field again, this will actually mean a lot to me. It will actually be like death, do or die, basically. Maybe not really, let's not go this far, but you know what I mean. Spread fire, it will work just like guillotine in this scenario, so let's just go for manual then. And this recording has lasted for 25 minutes already. I would like to point out I did not take a single sip of juice or ginseng drink yet, and I do have ginseng drink with me. Anyway, do I have 6 points? Yes, I do have 6s, and this is the first time I have seen a bomber from up close. Huh. It looks just like any Harmony ship. It doesn't really look all that great. Harmony, honestly, I'm gonna be, yeah, completely honest with you. I think they have the least interesting ship designs. I mean, they all look the same, let's face it. I know they're crystals, but I think that in this case, Unpredicted could have done something better, and yeah, I'm not gonna hate them at all, because all the other ship designs are absolutely stellar, and I love them a lot, they're great. It's just Harmony is really everything the same. Anyway, annoyingly enough, the pirates killed all my ships, but I lost all of their ships as well, so that was really not worth it. I think this means that maybe, just maybe, I should go for more of a glass cannon approach, because my ships are actually incapable of surviving for a longer periods of time against pirates, and I assume that this will also be the case with Horatio. Anyway, Bastardio, can I save the system? Honestly, looking at the fleets that the pirates have, that's a 2500 military power pirate fleet. Can I throw anything at it that is remotely powerful enough to actually face it? Yes, I can, as it stands out. I could possibly take it out. I do have fighters and bombers that would make all the difference I need. I would be able to take them out. Losing my entire fleet. That's not good. What is this random event? My faction only random... okay. I rip in the fabric. Space-time is a strange and occasionally unpleasant place. This time, however, a series of unexpected space-time rifts have generated useful anomalies in your star systems. The event is known as Saba, for simultaneous anomaly breakthrough appearance. You know what makes me smile a little bit and giggle inside? Space-time rifts generated, you know, all those planets, yeah, well, Pacific Rift, anyone? Just me? No? Maybe? Yeah, so let's see what kind of anomalies we gained, hopefully positive ones. I don't think anything changed over that. I did have strange forces, I'm pretty sure, and unknown rings on Mrs. Funland. Prototype, maybe. Hollow planet? No, nothing changed over here. Maybe it wasn't. No, it was a hollow planet, I'm fairly sad. Amnesia, is that you? No, I don't think anything changed in here either. How about Dorothy? No. Did I have low gravity? I may have had low. Yes, I did have low gravity. Hostefauna, I have had that. Hold a second, what kind of... Did I gain any anomalies? I do not see anything new. Hostefauna, yeah, I had that. Unknown rings. Meteor strikes, I didn't have meteor strikes. I didn't have toxics either. Thank you, game, for effing me over. I think I gained unknown ring. Maybe actually too, I'm not sure if I had it on this area as well. But I definitely gained meteor strikes, which is horrible. Actually, it does give me extra production and lowers my science. That's good. I like science. I like industry. But toxic lowers my food, and this is bad. I do not approve this at all. Not in the slightest. Anyway, I think I'm gonna cut the video off here. It has been a good journey with you, this says. I still didn't say anything that I wanted to about Pacific Rim, but it's safe to say I enjoyed it. You should watch it. It's what I want to see on an action movie. And even though the part of me that likes physics, astrophysics and whatnot died several times during this movie, I didn't care, because it was just here for awesomeness. And because of that, I could get over all the nonsense that was in this movie. In a movie like Star Trek, for example, especially the Star Trek that, you know, the one with the new cake and whatnot, the movie with the part with Black Hole, it made me want to kill myself. In this movie, even though there was a giant creature that was too way too heavy to fly using wings, but it was flying using wings regardless, and the Skyju was in fact, spoilers alert by the way, a little bit later, but whatever. The Skyju in fact even picked up a Jaeger, and then it did fly outside of the atmosphere where there is no air, so you cannot even use wings. Yeah, it did have a good laugh right there, but it was a positive laugh. I had fun watching this movie, I really did. And that's more than I expected, way more. I mean, I did expect to have fun, but not to have this amount of fun. I'm truly thankful for Polaris, because otherwise I wouldn't even watch this movie, because I would think it's another, you know, Transformers. And it wasn't. It definitely isn't. If you haven't seen this movie on IMAX yet, go to see it on IMAX. You need to see it on IMAX. Meanwhile, it was PANCZASU the Mighty Mix Power. If you somehow managed to enjoy my videocast, then please, by all means, like it, Maybe even subscribe to my channel if you wish to see more. Also, please do leave a comment because I enjoy reading them greatly and they do support my channel in various different ways. Thank you for watching and I'll see you online.